childhood shaped your money beliefs and what you can do about it. Okay, so my name is Brittany Brown, and I am an abundance and self improvement mentor and teacher. And basically, I help hardworking moms create new legacies from the inside out. So let's get started in how our childhood shapes our money beliefs. There's three things that I kind of think about. And these are like my own noticings and also learnings as I've studied money mindset and beliefs and have gone through a lot of these practices myself. So, before we talk about childhood and how that shapes our money beliefs, let's talk about what money mindset is and money beliefs, right? Money mindset is basically just your attitude or your relationship towards money. How do you think about money? What's your attitude towards it? What's your relationship? And then bringing in that childhood piece of what were those experiences and memories that created these beliefs that you have about money. Okay, so when you think about like money beliefs, I think about like like a couple examples are more money equals more problems, right? Or that money is evil, or people who are rich are greedy. Those type of things that a lot of times we subconsciously think, right? And so let's talk about how a lot of those come from our childhood and then what we can do about it, right? So the first one, really thinking about our childhood, is kids. As we know, as parents and moms, kids are like sponges and they absorb so much, more than we even realize. And so when you were a kid, you were the same way. And so what happens is, as children, we are like absorb our environments and the things that are happening. And so we absorb the things that people are saying about people who have a lot of money or people who don't have a lot of money, right? So parents and aunts and uncles and friends' parents and, leaders in our community, like all of those people that surround us. And usually they were grown-ups, right? Because we look up to them and they're our models, just like we're the models for our kids. Okay. And so just those experiences created memories and beliefs that we might not even realize that we have based on those experiences, right? And so I just want to be clear when I'm talking about things like this is I'm not saying like it has to be a traumatic memory or experience to create a belief. A lot of times those incidences, like traumatic incidents, do create that, but that's not what I'm talking about. It can be any experience. It can be positive or negative even. Um, any type of impactful experience, really, or even, sometimes even the small moments, the small actions, a lot of small actions. Okay. And so like I didn't grow up, I don't consider myself growing up in like a traumatic childhood or anything like that. Okay. But I can still think of incidences where the experience shaped my money belief. Okay. The second thing is kids have very big emotions, right? So like I can't think of an exact example off the top of my head, but I have a 3-year-old at home. And I don't know if you know this about like 2 and 3-year-olds, but they get very, very upset over very small things, right? Like there's a ton of viral videos out there of like, why is my 2-year-old crying? Oh, they're crying because, I don't know, because they want more Cheerios and there's Cheerios in front of them, but they're not round enough, right? I'm just making that up, obviously, but you get the idea, right? And so what happens is, I think sometimes as adults, we forget, because we have a little bit more skills and strategies to regulate our emotions and understand like, oh, is this like a really big emotional problem or not? Kids don't have that, right? To kids, a lot of times, all emotions are big emotions and all problems are big problems, which makes sense because they haven't learned to regulate those emotions yet. And so, what we know, or what I've learned, is that emotions, very strong, emotionally charged memories, make the memory stronger. And what memories do is they teach us lessons. For example, if you touch a hot stove, I use this example a lot. If you touch a hot stove and you get burned, it's painful, and your body creates a memory that says, hey, remember, don't touch the stove when it's hot. Okay, and so that also works with our money beliefs in childhood. If you have a memory of money, right? Maybe it's you lost money, or maybe it's like not going with your parents to the grocery store and them having to like put stuff back because they didn't have enough money, and those feelings of like embarrassment and things like that's going to stick with you, right? And your memory is going to create some type of lesson or memory, right? Maybe it's like you always under like spend on your budget, right? Or you're always looking for the cheapest thing in the grocery store because you're concerned that you're not going to have enough money when you get to the register. Okay, so that's the next piece. So, like being a sponge in a childhood, like just absorbing so much, and then having those big emotions connected to memories start to teach you certain beliefs about money. And the next one I think is very interesting. And to me, this was more like middle school, high school, is once you get into middle school and high school, that adolescence, so much of our lives depended on fitting in and trying to find our place. And many times that revolved around money. Okay. Like, feel free to put it in the chat or whatever. If it's like, oh, yeah, I knew exactly who the rich friends were, who the poor friends were, who had the designer clothes, all of those things, right? Who the popular kids, and the popular kids wore this type of brand. So those things, those middle and high school experiences revolved a lot around money. Who had it, who didn't, who could afford things, who couldn't afford things, right? Even in high school, when you would go hang out with friends, like who could afford to go to the movies and out to eat and gas and all that, and then who couldn't. And so all of those things imprint on us. Right? A lot of times that's when our money beliefs start shaping, right? And especially middle school and high school. I'm not worthy because I can't afford the expensive brands, and therefore I'm less than this other person, right? And then that carries with you. And one of your money beliefs might be, I'm not worthy of having money, or I don't deserve it. Okay. And that has nothing to do with that's not in truth, right? Everyone deserves to be able to make a living for themselves and not have to worry about buying groceries or gas or anything like that, right? So a lot of our money beliefs aren't actually based in truth. They're based in our childhood experiences. And so in order to change our relationship with money, to change our attitude towards money, we really need to become aware of those experiences, right? So this kind of steps into, okay, yeah, that makes sense, Brittany. What do I do about it? Right? Is one, first of all, you need to become aware of those experiences. And I suggest like just taking a sheet of paper or a journal or a notebook and being like, hey, what do I believe about money? And more than likely, something's just going to, like, the ideas are just going to start flowing. If they don't, think about what does your inner voice say when you go shopping or you buy something or you pay bills or you have money coming in. Those are good clues to what your money mindset beliefs are. Okay? Once you know those, the first step is to become aware. And then you can work through and say, is this even true? Does this serve me? How can I change it or reword it or re-envision, reprocess this so that I can come up with something that does serve me? And so I'm actually in my community, I'm doing a training on this, like on money mindset and how can we shift our beliefs, right? How can we become aware of those beliefs and then shift them to serve us rather than hinder us? Okay. And you might have some money beliefs that are already serving you, right? Maybe you grew up with an abundance mindset. And how can you take that one step further, or how can you elevate that even more? Okay, so if you are a hardworking mom who wants to create more, but are not really sure how, or you're like, yes, I want to learn more about like retraining my mindset around money, the link's in the description of this video to get into my community where I will be doing that training. If you're watching live, it's coming up this week. If you catch this video later, like just go into the group and look under the guide section, or that's what it's called right now. And it'll be under, I think it's called bonus trainings or something like that. And you can find it there. All right. I would love to hear if you have any money beliefs that you know are either serving you or not serving you, or what your experience has been around this. So feel free to leave a comment and I'll try to circle back around. Otherwise, you guys have the best day and we'll talk next time.